Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Make It Make Sense. I am your host, Bottles and Beers. Today we're going to talk about 8 different fragrances that you should check out for the spring. So with that being said, let's get it started. All right, first up, we have from the house of Dunhill, we have Desire. Now this one here, I actually had to spray on a test strip to get more familiar with it. I haven't worn it in a while. But with this one, you get a nice lavender, a lot of lavender actually. It gives it a powdery feel, very fresh, very citrusy, can be worn in any weather in my eyes. I know a lot of people like to wear different scents depending on what the weather is. For those people, that just sounded bad, but for people who like to do that, I do understand. But this one here, you can definitely wear in any weather, summer, spring, fall, winter. I think this will work perfect in any weather. As far as the presentation, very nice. It definitely, this bright red actually just looks real. It brings out more of a happy type feeling. You could say when looking at the collection. So with this one, you get some rose, again, some vanilla, a lot of lavender. It is musky. You get a slight green feel from it. Not herbal green, but like a brightness from, let's say, from like the stems or leaves of green style flowers or plants. As far as the notes, again, this is a sort of a citrusy style of a fragrance. You get some apple, some bergamot, some lemon, and orange blossom. In the middle, you get some rose, some teak wood, and some patchouli with this also. The patchouli I'm not really getting. I do get the rose. As far as the teak wood, I'm not familiar with it, but I do get like a watery wood style of a scent coming from this. It's definitely woody, but it seems like a watered down type of wood, and I'm guessing that's maybe what the teak wood smell like. I'm not sure. If anybody knows, please let me know in the comments. And in the base, you get vanilla and musk. The vanilla and the musk plays perfect with this, just to round the entire fragrance out. And I don't know, this is quite a very decent style of a scent. Again, to me, it is kind of controversial, and we'll talk about that in another video. Next one. All right, next up from the house of Bulgari, we have Bulgari Man Rain Essence. With this is a very citrus and floral, ozonic style of a scent. It has a green, slight powdery, fresh, amberic accord to it. Very nice, very, very nice. You can wear this daytime or night. Definitely a compliment getter. With this, I get a lot of green tea with this. It's definitely a green tea style of a fragrance. I do get some orange notes in here, some white lotus, some gaiac wood, and musk. That's pretty much all I really get from it. Again, very great style of a fragrance. Any age bracket could rock this. Definitely a compliment getter. From the house of Bulgari, we have Bulgari Man Rain Essence. All right, let's switch it up. We're gonna go to a niche house here. Man, one of my favorite buys of the year. I've only wore this once, and man, did I enjoy it. From the house of Roja Dove, we have, with Roja Parfums, we have Midsummer Dream. Gorgeous bottle. All right, with this one, you get a very earthy, spicy, floral. It is aromatic, and it has this great but weird type of note. Okay, with this one, I have to look up some notes here. Okay, so for the top notes, you get grapefruit, bergamot. In the mid, you get elemi, cardamom, moss, orange blossom, pink pepper, rose, patchouli. And in the base, you get benzoin, vetiver, vanilla, orris, cedar, musk, and carrot seed. It's very woody, very aromatic, but the spice in this, the spice with the florals on this one, definitely unisex. I would say it's straight down the middle. That first blast of the florals in this might kind of lean feminine, but as soon as you wear it for a while, within 5 minutes, that earthiness starts to come up, and right off the jump, it starts leaning more masculine to me. Again, it's powdery but earthy. That combination together just works very well with this. Masterfully done. Like, hold on, I just gotta give it a spray. I got to. This is definitely a head turner. Now, with that being said, I can't say that this is an everyday wear. It's also not for everybody. I didn't blind buy it. I bought a sample of it, but I didn't actually give it a full wearing. Right off the jump, I knew this was a full bottle worthy for me, but that don't mean I would tell anyone to definitely grab a bottle. It's not for everyone. Again, it's earthy. It's a mysterious style of a floral fragrance. Done very well. If you're into uniqueness, this might be right up your alley. Again, from the house of Roja Parfums, we have Midsummer Dream. All right, next up, from the house of Ralph Lauren, we have Polo Cologne Intense. All right, this one here is an Eau de Parfum concentration. First blast, right off the jump, green, just like the bottle. Green, green, green. I get a herbal vibe with this one. Very spicy, very spicy. It's now the intense in this, I'm not sure if they had to name it that. It's not that intense, but I mean, as far as the green, it does stand out. If you're looking for the same scent that you got with the original Polo Green, this is not it, but it is just as good. As far as projection, it projects very well. It is a designer fragrance, so it does have a designer feel to it. Do get some citrus with this, some earthy patchouli in the base of it. With the top notes, you have basil, mint, and grapefruit. Notes, you have violet leaf, thyme, and basil. By ambroxan, vetiver, and patchouli in the base. Again, this one does great in the spring. I would say this is for all seasons. It wears very ambery, very green, of course, very spicy. Just a gorgeous scent, guys. I'll give this a try if you like the Ralph Lauren line. Again, you have Polo Cologne Intense Eau de Parfum. All right, next up, from the house of Jacques Faulk, we have Faulk's Essentials Les Loden Parfum. Now, this one is one of my favorite summer and spring scents. Jesus Christ. This one it gives you just an uplifting feel. If anyone ever talk about how fragrances can change your mood, this is definitely one to speak highly about, as far as just bringing a sense of happiness to your day. This just even if you're having a bad day, this can brighten it up a tad bit. This is a gorgeous green vetiver fragrance. I don't hear too many people talk about this one. I couldn't tell you why. In my book, it's definitely it's a mild vetiver, but it's definitely one that I think people should put their nose on. It's not heavy at all. It don't wear light. It wears right at that medium level. It projects maybe at arm's length. Very, very good for the springtime, guys. I would say spring and summer, but quite frankly, I wore this in the wintertime. Anytime I wanted to just feel a little bit more uplifted, this is one of my go-tos. It's a very aromatic, woody, again, vetiver fragrance. It does have tobacco listed in the accords, and I do get a hint of the tobacco, but mainly it brings like an ashiness to it. With that vetiver, it gives a real fresh cut green grass feel. As I stated once before, it definitely has the green grass feel, but with the hint of tobacco leaf that gives it the ashiness that I would say it just makes it where it wears a lot better on the skin, in my opinion. There's some slightly sweet patchouli in this one. I mean, what more can I say? This, you got to get your nose on this one, fellas. You have Haitian, bourbon, and Java vetiver in this one. Get some juniper berries, some ginger, some ylang-ylang, green mandarin, bourbon geranium, and raspberry leaf. Now the raspberry leaf in this one, I think that's what gives it more of the fruity smell, that mixed with the slightly sweet patchouli. It gives it that earthy feel. Again, this is one of the best fragrances that I have for this upcoming season. Definitely want to get your nose on this one. From the house of Jacques Fac, you have Les Loden. Right, next up we have from the house of Giorgio Armani, we have Armani Code Absolute Gold Edition. Now this one is definitely one of my favorite warm weather vanillas, because it's definitely fresh, powdery, but that vanilla note is done perfectly in this one. This was mastery perfumery right here. A lot of times vanilla is used in more darker fragrances. You can get them in some fresh fragrances, but sometimes it kind of play in the background, it just to even things out. But this one, the vanilla is right in the front, but very smooth, very fresh. It is powdery from the iris, but again, great warm weather fragrance. It is kind of fruity as well. There is some violet leaf in this one. I don't get too much of it, but it does play its part in rounding things off and give it more of a crispiness style of a wear. Just an all-around great fragrance, guys. Again, I don't hear too many people talk about the absolute version of this. Me personally, I never did get my nose on the original, so I can't really compare the two, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't have no need to. This one works just fine for me. From the house of Armani, from Giorgio Armani, we have Armani Code Absolute Gold. All right, from the house of Boyce 1920, we have Dolce Gabbana. All right, with this one, mixing fresh and spicy has been done before, granted. Mixing fresh spicy with cinnamon, not so much. But this is done perfectly with this one. The freshness in this one is drastic. It's definitely in your face, fresh scent all the way around, but when it dries down with that cinnamon accord, man, you have a totally different, slightly weird, but magical fragrance. Straight magical. Powdery, sweet, aromatic. The plum, cardamom, bergamot, and grapefruit is done to perfection. They all just they just mingle with each other in a great way. I was actually hip to this fragrance from Justin Copeland at Stay Fresh Production, and he talked about it over and over again. So when I got my bottle, one thing I noticed that the bottle has changed. It's a slight difference here, which actually kind of scared me. I was worried about, did I get the wrong one? But after some research, I did see that they did change the bottles. Now, did some reformulations come with that? That part I'm not sure. I did notice that the juice in this one is slight different. His was a more fresh green. Mine's is like a darker brown. Kind of the bottom of the bottle kind of got scratched up. That did worry me. So when I looked around and checked out some more of them of the same fragrance, they all did tend to have that same coloration. So my guess, there is some reformulation in it. But as far as the scent, I don't think that changed as much, but don't hold me to it. With this, I get a blast of woods. I know some cedar wood, some gaiac wood. But the woods mixed with that cinnamon and that freshness is just, it has this as a top tier contender as far as everyday wear in the springtime and maybe in the summertime. It does wear quite heavy. Don't need a lot of sprays. The longevity on it, I would say about 6 to 8 hours. Probably leaning more to that 6 hour range, at least to my nose. Now, if people around me still smell it afterwards, that could be the case. I've only wore this a couple of times, but I do plan on getting a lot more wears from it. And I think this one you should check out. I'm definitely gonna give it a lot more tries, and you will be hearing about this one more on the channel. So again, from the house of Boyce 1920, we have Dolce Gabbana. All right, last but not least, one of my favorite, if not my favorite at this moment, my favorite rose fragrance from the house of Arman Jane, we have Taif.
Wow.
Now this one is not to be slept on, guys. Oh, man. The problem with saying something about a rose fragrance, a lot of men tend to just brush that off thinking it goes too feminine, or they want to smell manly, so rose should not be worn. When I tell you, you guys are really missing out. This one of the most gorgeous scents in my collection. You can wear this in any weather, but I've been holding off, waiting on the spring actually, because I think this will work real well in this type of climate. You get this crisp, fresh. You get a crisp, fresh floral accord in here. The thing about the florals in this one, it wears light, but projects very well. And I think that's one of the best things about this fragrance to me, is that the projection on it. It's not heavy at all. So as far as it leaning feminine, there's nothing feminine about this one. Straight down the middle, unisex. And quite frankly, if I had to pick, I would say it lean more masculine. Why? Because it's not a fruity type of floral. It's not a fruity rose. There's a sweetness to it, but it's a very dry, crisp, fresh rose. Very vibrant, man, done perfectly. I mean, the perfumery on this is just master level. I think everybody should at least just sample it. If you sample this fragrance, I'm pretty sure this will attract you to get a full bottle. The pink pepper, saffron, and that note of dates. My goodness, this is one of the best rose fragrances in my collection. I want to say it is my favorite, but I'm gonna give it some more awareness to make sure before I make that statement. But as of right now, it's definitely in my top 3, hands down. So again, from the house of Arman Jane, you gotta get your nose on this one. We have Taif. All right, I hope you all enjoyed this video. You know, some people say my spending is obnoxious. Some people say my spending is ridiculous. To me personally, I just try to make it make sense. Until next time, keep it locked. Take care. Pow.